I want them with the biggest like car sponsorship deals. I want them on every TV show.
Truls has always got a new car.
Truls got more cars than I've got blimmin' hot dinners. He's always putting a car on his Instagram page. So guys, we're back in the pod. Fantastic.
Here we are.
Yeah, we were obviously away for a little bit in India with Ultimate Table Tennis League, which was pretty stunning.
Really good, wasn't it? I couldn't believe how the setup was so impressive, and every team was just going for the win. They had CEOs, physios, coaches. Each team had that. It was pretty insane. Players, foreign players all around the world. It was so good.
It was awesome. Yeah, good experience. I have to say though, when we were there, it was fantastic, but the journey there and back was pretty bad, wasn't it, boys?
I have never seen you as angry in my life, stomping around Delhi airport looking for a complaints desk.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good, guys. I'm afraid to say we can't recommend Air India, but that's maybe a story for a separate podcast. But we didn't have a good journey. Anyway, aside
it's weird
from
though,
that,
because when we went earlier, the time we went on Air India, you lost your headphones, and they managed to relocate them, and they were like the best airline ever.
really strange. I don't know. They must have really gone downhill in that 4-month period, to be honest with you.
We actually almost didn't get on the flight as well at one point. The security guard was blocking our way.
Yeah, the baggage handler. The baggage handler wasn't having it, was he? He didn't like the bags full of cameras. Because when we go on these TTD trips, it's bonkers. Like we have suitcases full of cameras, and they must be just looking at us like, what the hell?
What's going on here? And you can't have them in your suitcase because there are breaks. You have to have them when you're on the luggage going onto the flight, and you're allowed 7 kilograms allowance, and we're about 15, 16 kilograms allowance.
So to be honest, it's probably right, the guy.
I think one thing with these trips though, I think a lot of people, when you see the YouTube video going out, you see the end product, right? It's like, oh, this is amazing, all the amazing angles and stuff and the incredible events, but the actual hustle behind the scenes.
Yeah, what you don't see is us crammed onto an Air India flight for 8 hours with no leg room and not a drop of water.
The screens didn't work. The tray table was off sideways. Yeah,
it was poor. It was poor.
It didn't get a 5-star review from TTD Air India. Everything else other than that,
world class.
Perfect. So what have we released already? We've got the Quadri Challenge has gone out.
Yeah, brilliant. That was a really good one. Quadri is great. The hobby players.
I love the fact that he was going about 30% for the entire time and still looking world class.
Yeah. There's already like memes now of like these 3 hobby players. On the TTD website the other day, someone's making all these different images. It's hilarious. And it's
cool.
It's like hobby player 1 and like Tom's head pops up. And then hobby player 2, Beast. Is so funny.
Actually, you know what? I graduated though.
You did?
Quadri said I graduated to professional at the end, so...
You done well.
There you go.
And Beast got relegated after he missed your back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
It
brilliant.
was genius from Quadri though, wasn't it?
It's great. It made good fun, good humour.
Yeah, it was wicked.
And we got Alvaro Robles video coming out soon as well.
Yeah.
That's going to be wicked. Yeah, he is class. And fair play to him because, again, as I said, how wild it is to try and create these videos, these content. Robles was training all day. His team wanted him back at the hotel to get ready for the next day. And Robles was like, guys, where are you? Let's go meet at the training hall. Let's make this video happen. I was like, let's go. Like, this is great. And then his management and stuff chased him down about half an hour later. But he was happy to keep going.
Yeah, he would have stayed there all night. I mean, one of the points that's going to come out, him and Beast had the best point I've ever seen live in my life.
It was insane.
What's crazy is it was love all as well, right? It was the first point.
It was the very first point. It was nuts. Yeah. Around the net, it went around the net from Beast, didn't it? And Robles is just scooping in like he's fishing on a Sunday morning.
So chilled.
Yeah, just so chilled. It's incredible. Actually, he's actually one of the players, obviously most of the players on the circuit we all have, but like he was the most relaxed yet high quality.
Yeah.
The shot quality is ridiculous for how relaxed he looks.
Very loose, very smooth.
And the ball is laced and it doesn't look it. And it's quite impressive.
I think Kamau has a similar thing with that, right?
Kamau.
Chancer, like when he top spins, he's like so relaxed and that looks nice, and then it just jumps over your head.
Similar frame on the both of them because they're both like 6 foot plus, both
tall.
Long limbs. Yeah, because Robles with that left hand takes the ball incredibly late and just rips
It's off the floor.
Yeah.
It's off the floor. The ball goes up and over. He does it on the backhand counter as well. It's like coming late, it's dropping, and you think, well, he ain't going to get that on. And he just can counter it.
Next thing you know, you're picking up the ball at the back of the court. He got it on.
Yeah, he's wicked.
Shout out as well to Robles because we were like, oh, we'd love to do a shirt giveaway. Like, you'll sign it, we'll give it away. And he turned up, and it was one of his Paris Olympic tops that he signed for us. So sorry, guys, that ain't going to you. That's going on the wall in here. That's too good to give away.
We've already done a couple good giveaways, so I think we can keep one for ourselves.
Yeah. For sure.
Wicked.
And then, so after Robles, there's can we mention the team?
It's going to be great, that
we'll
one.
Give a bit of an insight.
Yeah, go on. Let us know, Joe. Go on.
Okay,
That's great.
so
you enjoyed that one.
So the Beast, Tom and Dan, got to play a team match against 3 of the best female players in the world. Number 1, Manika Batra. Number 2, Lily Zhang. And number 3, who's going to be everyone's favorite, I reckon, after the video, because she's amazing, Deborah Vivarelli. That video is going to be amazing.
No, they were top draw. They were bantering us. They're just, all over it, weren't they? Hilarious.
Points were great. Yeah, they were giving some really good stick. And obviously, like that was the first time we'd met Manika, and she's quite a serious kind of imposing figure if you don't know her. Like on obviously she's like the queen of Indian table tennis as well. She's got this massive Adidas sponsorship. She's always kind of looking around. And she turned up, and within 30 seconds, she was laughing, taking the mick out of you lot. It was really good.
Yeah, she's great. She's actually quite, I felt quite shy, She's quite reserved, actually, even though you think, because she plays very focused, right? But then actually, when you actually know her, you're like, okay, wow, she's actually quite a shy person.
Yeah. I think that's one of the good things about these videos is like bringing those players to life that otherwise don't really get the platform to show how funny they are, how like their personalities outside of kind of like this kind of
sterile
cauldron.
Box.
Well, that's it. We know ourselves, guys. Table tennis is such a tough sport. When we play in the local league here in Bristol, it's like when the UFC Octagon to try and win a match, right?
Yeah.
You have to jump on your toes, you get hyper focused to try and win. And if you don't do that, you start losing points. And so players, it's just such a tough game. So you have to have very high concentration levels.
Yeah. Robles
actually said that at the end. Robles was like, he sat down, he's like, wow, this is so much fun, guys. Table tennis is such a hard sport. It's quite nice to just play a bit of fun. And he's like, I go to these WTT tournaments, I go to Paris. It's so difficult. And I just get to have some fun with you guys. It's awesome.
In other words, he's like, usually I'm playing world-class players. This is easy stuff. Light work.
I like how he said, though, it's such a tough game. It's so relatable.
Yeah.
He everyone can relate to that. I'm pretty sure, hopefully we'll talk about a bit later about Marlon, but if we can get a little exclusive on Marlon, we need to ask him the question, does he think this is a hard sport?
Imagine he just breaks down the theory and he's like, no.
It's simple.
It's very simple. Just practice 8 hours a day and you'll be absolutely great.
That's what I want to know.
China.
Yeah. Do the Chinese guys, because they train so much, is it like they're having their breakfast when they're playing? Or are they still thinking, what a freaking hard game this is?
Yeah.
From what, like very, very tiny insight into like Chinese training of the very little.
This is when you hang out at Fanjandong.
No.
Kebab.
No, we've done that one. That story is it's a lovely kebab. No, but from my very minimal experience of China, like when I've been there to train, and I've been there a few times, and I was there once summer throughout 1 month. And towards the end of the month, because you're obviously playing let's say you're playing 6-7 hours a day. Sometimes I remember going in the morning session, like you'd have breakfast and you play, and you're literally doing forehand to forehand, and you haven't even thought anything. It was so automatic. I'm like, oh, I'm doing backhand to backhand warm up.
I'm back in the hall again.
I'm doing backhands now. Did we even do forehands? Like it was so automatic because you just go into like robot mode.
Yeah.
Like it's so weird.
It's so much reps. It comes to the point where you're doing more table tennis and almost breathing, but anything else, you know what I mean? Anything else in your life. Like if your day is consumed of table tennis at that sort of level as well, where it's just high quality, consistency, coaches are around you, you're going to mold into it, aren't you? You become it.
It becomes so subconscious. Like you don't think at all. It's just like you could literally be doing your studying, your whatever, thinking about what you're having for lunch.
You know, sometimes when you're driving, you're on the motorway and you're like, whoa, I just traveled for like maybe 20 minutes now. Can I remember anything for the last 20 minutes?
Pure autopilot.
Maybe it's a bit more like that with those guys.
It is, yeah.
And I think like when we're in Europe, we don't get the table time, or when you're younger, you don't really get that opportunity as much, right? As in China,
especially in England.
Yeah, in China they combine school with table tennis, so it's part of your life.
What would be interesting to see is like, we know that athletes kind of go through these cycles of like trying to peak for big moments. I'd love to know when you're at their level, is there any time when they're kind of on the come down and they're just playing a tournament and maybe there is no pressure and they're just going to try and chill and take it out, and actually the other way when they then come up on the peak, or whether they're just always, they're that good, they're always at that like number one in the world level?
I think, they do different things leading up to tournaments, right? Because there's been stuff in the past where Liu Guliang and other like Chinese coaches in the setup have done like that devil training, they call it.
Yeah.
And it's like basically doing like a training camp before a big tournament, and they have like, they train them with like a lack of sleep.
Oh, wow.
They go to like 2 a.m.
So they go to bed at like 2, wake up at 6, and then they have to play a match like straight away directly. So it trains them to like not just be good, but actually be able to deal with adversity, lack of sleep. Because like no matter how prepared you are, like weird things do happen at events, right? Like I've been to a league match and like the bus breaks down and you're late for the match, you got no warm up. It could be anything. There's a million things that can happen, right?
Or a photographer could snap your bat in half.
yeah, exactly. You just don't know, do you? Yeah.
It's interesting, and I think for sure they do try and peak and stuff. And I mean, if you take, for example, Fanjandong, his level at Paris was so good, right? And he had Harimoto on his case, Truls, etc. But then, leading up to Paris. Fan Zhendong,
Had a few wobbles.
he did have a few wobbles. I mean, and there was some world-class performances, like Francisca taking out Fan Zhendong and stuff. But if that was in Paris Olympics, would Fan Zhendong get over that match? You know, would the preparation be different? Who knows? And it is a good point I think you make.
Well, we've seen as well with Fan Zhendong and Chen Men, those two in particular have had a big gap now, not playing in the China Smash, which we'll get to in a little bit. Wang Chuqin seems to be having a bit of a hangover effect from Paris as well.
He's probably still looking for a bat he likes.
yeah.
Just coming back then to UTT, just one final thing, because we also filmed some content with Bernadette Such as well, didn't we? One of the things being a backhand battle that you guys got to go up against her. So that'll be coming out as well. That'll be awesome.
Well, after we did that, I was like, no wonder she beat Chen Meng. It was so consistent.
I'd like to take some credit for this because I suggested we should do backhand to backhand. And we're like, oh, well, not really sort of buying into it. But
you done great. You called it well. And
backhand's unbelievable at the table. She doesn't miss and kick.
It doesn't miss. Doesn't actually miss. We didn't see it miss once.
It's so safe.
I don't want to give away what happened.
Yeah,
with the
spoiler
challenge.
alert.
Yeah.
But I actually didn't get to see what it looked like when it missed. It's interesting. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, she's class.
All right, let's bring it on to the tournament that just wrapped up last week, WTT Macau Champions Tournament. So Ling Shidong winning men's, Sun Yin Sha kind of right in the wrong for the disappointment she would have felt in Paris and winning as well. I want to look at Ling Shidong being 19 years old.
Is he only 19 still?
Crazy.
Only a youngster.
Really? I thought he was older than that. Wow.
Yeah, and he seems to have this crazy backhand power away from the table that no one else in the world seems to have.
It's so effortless as well. Just does it and just lands.
Because obviously he doesn't get the chance in like the major because obviously Ma Long, Wan Chuqin, Fan Zhendong. But I know in like China Super League and maybe some other like smaller events, he's competed like toe to toe with. He's beaten Fan Zhendong, I'm sure, before in China Super League and. I didn't actually realize he was only 19 though. Still, that's nuts.
He's a youngster, and especially we go back to what Kamal was saying about Ma Long, and like there was a big gap between Ma Long coming onto the scene and then winning a big tournament. Lin Shidong's already done that now at 19, and semi-final was probably the most impressive because he ripped through Wang Chuqin.
Crazy,
ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah. And, you know, obviously Fan Zhendong is now getting older. Whether he plays in the next Olympics, China do need to start thinking about the next players coming through, right? And we know that the Olympics is so much pressure, as we saw with Wang Chuqin. You know, he definitely got hit by the pressure of the whole event and everything. Yeah, exactly. So they're thinking, okay, who's next in line? And you know, Ma Long as well. Also, he's going to be retiring or not. Yeah, he's definitely coming off of it.
Yeah, he's in the twilight of his career.
So the next one's in thing. But yeah, Li Shidong is phenomenal. He reminds me a bit of like Felix as well. You know, when like Felix is mid distance and they're just so safe. And I don't know if it is. One of my thinking to it, right, is these guys have never played with a celluloid ball. They've just played with plastic ball. And with plastic ball, there is a different feeling to it. And are they just so in tune with it from the age of 3 or 4 years old by just hitting the ball?
We have discussed this before. It definitely helps for sure if you're only starting with one ball. Whereas, like we've said, Timo Boll, for example, he's played through the era of changing the ball. It makes it tougher because you've learnt a certain way to hit the ball. Now suddenly it's different.
The youngsters from mid-distance, like even Alexei when he's on the back foot and stuff, they're so good at being safe away from the table. Whereas like Timo still have like the dribbly spin shot mid-distance, which you needed back in the day, where they're like hitting it a bit more.
Yeah.
It's more flat hit with spin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot thicker contact now. Whereas before you'd brush the celluloid a lot and get that zippy spin. Whereas now you have to hit through it harder.
And I feel like there's not much thought in their shot as well. They just do it. You know, like whereas I feel like back in the day there was
Dan's looking for a Nike sponsorship now. Just do it.
Just do it. There's no sort of like tension in the contact. It just goes. I saw it against Dan Chanshu in the final.
Yeah.
It drops off.
Spreading butter on his toast.
Basically.
Yeah.
It's great. It actually makes the sport visually better because the rallies are longer.
For sure.
You know,
Lin Shidong standing in the training hall doing his backhands. Like he's that far off the table.
Yeah, he's just having a drink.
Mad.
But you mentioned like the ability to handle pressure at the Olympics as well. And Ling Shidong in the round of 16 against Harimoto, it was like a really like back and forth battle, 2-2, and he was actually 5-2 down in the final set. And that would have been really easy to like lose your head.
Yeah.
You got the kind of ready-made excuse that you're a youngster already, you're in your first big major tournament, but he didn't. He came through and won that.
Yeah.
And Harimoto showing in his face probably as well. You know?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's a tough match overcoming Harimoto. He's got a lot of experience now, and he's also, the determination on Harimoto is phenomenal. You got to give it to him. And he's had so many near misses now. Paris, he was You know, what's the score of him and Fanchadong in Paris? It was tight.
It was 4-3.
It was 4-3. Yeah, went to the last set.
Jeez, I mean, look, Harimoto could be Olympic champion right now. Well,
Yeah,
George
well,
might be
I
in the
mean,
final, you know, but it's such a fine line, isn't it?
Yeah, table
Sport.
tennis is, yeah.
God.
Unless it's Lin Shidong against Benedict Duda. Did you see that one?
I did.
That was 1, 2, and 3, wasn't it? That's literally when your coach is like, just do a little bit better next set, and you go, yeah, all right, I'll get 1 extra point.
And that's brutal for someone of Duda's standard, like to get smashed that bad.
Dude, world class as well.
It just goes to show how good the Chinese players are when they're on fire. There's this video, I don't know if I already brought it up in the podcast before, but I always get fascinated by it. Marlin versus Timo Boll, right? It's back in the day. YouTube
Dan
it.
loves this one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Marlin wins the first set 11-0, and then he's 9-0 up in the second set.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's like 18 points in a row against Timo. Timo's 1-1 at the time. It's like 2004, 2005. And the shots that Marlin is doing, right, is every single one is world class. Like forehand out fades. He's just fade flicking down the line, pen hold madness. He's like, what is going on?
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it's like the Chinese can just, you won't catch a European player doing that to a Chinese player or kind of anyone else in the top 100 in the world, right? It's, you know, even if Duda plays, I don't know,
Timo,
it's a tight-ish game.
Yeah.
You know, Otrov ain't just going to destroy him.
No.
The Chinese have a way of just like being so relentless.
Yeah. And no like obvious, especially Ling Shidong as well, like no obvious weakness.
Yeah.
Like he just seems to be so complete over both sides. Yeah.
Everything's like his grip and everything's all just it's so technically perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, molded. On the other side of that final then, Dan Chu had an amazing tournament reaching, he's the first European anyway to reach a champions final, which is a really
Wow,
good.
yeah.
Didn't have an easy way there as well. He was 2-0 down, beat Liang Qin-kun, second seed. So yeah, you don't.
That's a big win.
Yeah, but we mentioned it in previous podcasts, like these best of 5 matches, and if anything can happen in there because it does feel like short form.
No, I like it a lot, best 5. I know some players, I've heard some players don't like it that much because, you know, you go all the way out to China or something and you play one match, best 5, you're out. But
yeah, I mean, it is a leveler for sure.
It
Like
is a leveler.
to an extent, obviously the better player will generally still win, but obviously over 7 sets, the better player will win a lot more often because there's a little more margin of coming back time.
no, definitely. And I think best of 7 is quite a big difference, even though it doesn't seem it just is.
No, it is a big difference.
It is.
2-0 down in best of 5, and you're like, okay.
Your stress is different. The
course it
stress
is.
is on the line, and it creates your performance to dip a little bit.
Yeah, 2-0 down in best of 7, you're like, well, they're only halfway there.
Yeah.
It's a totally different mindset than I need to win this next set. That pressure's so different.
Yeah, and you think of like levels of concentration or like momentum that's going your way. The best of 7 matches often are
Longer.
an hour long, an hour tops. Like that's
So, I mean,
a long time to stay in that flow state.
There's more percentage chance that the better player then finds his game and comes back and wins, right? Like, so there's less chance for like, oh, he's not finding his game and I'm flying, you know?
Well, yeah, a lot of players talk about it, right, where they're at a level where they have like 3 or 4 types of sequences to play, like type of tactical plays. And in best of 7, you get to experiment a little bit. And we've heard players talk about it before in the past. Oh, yeah, I tried doing this and then it started working. Whereas when best of 5, the tension's already there, you're 2-0 down, you're thinking, I've tried these few things. Stress is in, you're not thinking what's going to work. And then before you know it, you know, you're out.
You lost 3-0, you're shaking your hand and you're back on the Air India flight.
With your knees cramped to your chest.
Yeah, knees in your ears.
Yeah.
The pros would be business class with blooming Virgin Atlantic.
Yeah. They're in Elon Musk's little shuttle rocket.
Well, Elon's bringing that out soon, you know.
Is he?
Yeah, in atmosphere flight around the world. Yeah, like 2-hour flight from here to wherever you want to go. That's the plan.
Mars. Dan wants to go set up a new table tennis academy on Mars.
Can you imagine that first table tennis? We played table tennis in space. A bit cool video.
Now that's a viral video.
Yeah. Elon, make it happen.
Low gravity flight. We could do it up there.
Imagine the chairman, you throw the ball up to serve and it's gone. It's lost in space. Where's that gone? He never come back down.
He would do that. He really would do that.
You throw it up and he'd be like, he's gone.
Yeah, but it'd be worse because you'd see the blobs of sweat literally coming off him,
they're
like
coming
leaking, man. They'd be coming up towards you, be like, playing it away.
Yeah. At least it's not all over the table.
It's actually fascinating. If you play chairman and you're juicing the 5th, you are literally going to get sweat balled, and as he serves, you're going to see the sweat fling in the air. It's an
You're
incredible
fighting
thing.
evolution there.
Yeah, you are.
You get down in your ready position and you have to check his bat as to
yeah.
whether there's sweat on it because he doesn't even look. So you're like, wet ball.
Chair, wipe your back, please. You go, okay, all right. And he wipes it on his shorts, which are even
wet.
Yeah. He comes up and then he's back to serve.
Yeah.
No, Dad, shorts, bat. He's And he goes back. It would just keep happening. I reckon umpires could bring in a new rule for it because it's part of his game.
Yeah.
It's part of his game.
And then he always has the audacity. He's like, "What you moaning about?" You're like, "Shit."
You're literally serving underwater here, Chairman.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Chairman always gets a mention in these podcasts. It's great.
And he's got to the point now where he's like, I didn't get a mention in that last video. It's become a thing.
In the podcast, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. We'll just mention him every time. We've got to get him on it sometime.
We played British League though up in the Midlands at the weekend, and someone came up to us because obviously we're Team TTD, and he's like, "Where's Chairman?" We're like, "Oh, he didn't want to play. Sorry, mate."
Brilliant. He actually fair play. He was like, you know what? I saw there was 7 years on it, and I didn't want to let you guys have some fun.
But then when he found out that we're all getting new kit, he was like, "Where's mine?" We're like, "You don't play for the team, mate. Sorry."
Anything for the kit.
We're gonna have to get him on one of these.
Oh yeah, I think we should.
100%. The Chairman feature special.
Yeah.
I think Chairman should be sponsored by like DeWalt. No, I think that'd be great. Like he'd be an ambassador. Like I'm talking like proper ambassador as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On the adverts with his bat in his hand, DeWalt box. Right. What frame we putting up today then, boys?
Yeah.
Great. Or what building we knocking down?
Whose bat snaps in half
Yeah.
I need to fix?
Yeah.
He starts putting dehumidifiers around the table when you play it.
Yeah. Ah, Chairman.
All right, back to Macau, because there was an absolutely unbelievable match in the round of 16. Simon Gauzy, we gave him the big shout out. We said he might be, if you're looking at bringing non-TT people into TT to show him some of the most ridiculous stuff, he might be the guy, to show him those rallies.
That's a good shout.
That match with Lian Jin-kun as well, we probably should have known it would have been a banger because they played back in Korea. In the South Korea in the Incheon, and that was the match where Simon did that crazy chop to the run in and smash.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah, there were. This one went all the way, a couple of juice sets, but it's in particular. I think it's the 5th set at 6-2, where they go round the net to round the net to round the net to round the net, and then Simon just cracks that backhand.
Yeah, backhand from the forehand side and hits like a roller around the net like here.
Yeah, I actually think that might be, in terms of, there's lots of good rallies and good shots, but the whole thing as a whole, that Shuxing rally maybe in the Chinese Super League was nuts. That was nuts. But this one is really insane because the first forehand, a cut forehand, it's like hacked backspin in half. Lin Jin-kun somehow gets it back. Yeah. But to do a backhand finish like that, everyone gets in that position, right? You're around the net of your friend, you're going around the net, and you go for a big backhand and it hits the ceiling, right? But he actually just gets it on around the net, flies through it. And it actually, you very rarely ever see that shot go on. You know what, as well, about this rally is most people online moan about that sideways view. This was the perfect view for that rally because it's in like a straight line.
That's true.
Yeah. This shot though that Simon did before the backhand, this forehand up curl, the ball goes over in slow motion. There is so much spin on that ball.
Oh yeah.
It's like the one that Otto landed on us from Pongfinity.
It is. And
Beast pushes it in the net.
dumped in the net. And Lin Jin-kun just goes around the net again with it. But, it was insane.
And that was at that point, he was 6-2 up, right? So he won that point to go 7-2 up. And then, you know what? I hadn't seen the end result. I hadn't watched the match live. I hadn't seen the result. I just saw that point. I saw it was 6-2, crazy point. Gauzy wins the point, and I'm like, oh, he's 7-2 up in the 5th. Oh, he must have won.
No.
Tune back in later, he lost.
I know.
It's
Ridiculous.
Nuts.
Yeah,
Doesn't make sense.
I know, but in fairness, he was very, very happy after it. I think he's still riding the massive high from Paris, and he's just loving life.
He is. Yeah, he's got his bronze.
I got a little insight into that actually. So obviously a lot of hype and stuff from Paris, like massive, achievement to get that bronze medal, and heard from a couple of people like. He hadn't had the chance to really practice much because of obviously media and stuff, and literally only a couple times going into the Macau tournament.
Wow.
He was saying to like some of his friends, if I play like this, maybe I should just stop practicing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. So he'd obviously probably just didn't have the time with all the media stuff and Paris, and he's got a family. Crazy.
Probably a few beers in there as well.
Maybe a few beers, a bit of probably red wine. He's French, so probably a red wine man.
It's actually a good point because the media that the players have got from Paris is just so insane. Truls is literally like a celebrity now in Sweden. I heard that he had a security guard with him at one of those events where there's like 5,000 people at an opening. It's really insane. So, players are used to doing 6 hours every day practice or whatever it is. They're probably not getting much table time. Felix and Alexei, I wonder what they're doing. They seem to be on all sorts of talk shows and stuff at the minute. You know what I mean?
It's so good.
Yeah, it's wicked,
so good
isn't it?
for the sport. I want them with the biggest car sponsorship deals. I want them on every TV show.
Truls has always got a new car.
Truls got more cars than I've got blimmin' hot dinners. He's always putting a car on his Instagram page.
Sponsored by whatever it is, MG, I think, isn't it? I don't know. Probably Volvo.
Whoever at Stiga as well coined his shot the cyber snake.
Yeah, yeah.
You deserve €1 million. That is genius.
Brilliant.
It was great.
The weird thing about Truls was, obviously now he seems to be like this absolute superstar. But when we filmed with him, do you remember we were walking from the venue to the train station, and he was just sat on like a bench in a park with his girlfriend. It was like, "You right, Truls?"
Yeah, it was weird, wasn't it?
I bet he can't do that now.
Yeah, no, I bet he can't. It's really good, like the exposure I think the players are getting lately. Like Hugo's on his 1 million followers, and it's just really awesome. And it's like hopefully catching, like in China, the players are like David Beckham, right? They are superstars.
Yeah, yeah.
And hopefully with this new kick of energy and hype, it's gonna, combine China and the rest of the world and then create this just mega sport. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what it's needed. There's always been this massive imbalance, isn't there?
Yeah.
China's like here, and then like 99% of probably the commercial value of table tennis is China, and 1% is the rest of the world. But hopefully it's starting to shift. And then that's just going to just make it great for everything. Or, and it's got to trickle down, right? Hopefully it gets to like the local clubs in the UK, local clubs in France, bring more money into the clubs. Kids getting coached, coaches can now become full-time coaches. It's hopefully that all starts happening as well.
Yeah, well, the more the Western world gets involved in it, the more money that then becomes in it, and then the more money you could potentially use to bring the best coaches from China to your hub. Right?
Absolutely.
You go and pay these people, and then they bring up your youngsters in that new style of play. Yeah, you drive it all up.
Yeah.
Rising tide lifts all ships down. There you go.
I like
saying
that.
that.
Fantastic.
All right, let's go on to the women's side of the draw then. So Shah coming out, Sungyin Shah. She's actually won all 3 WTT Champions tournaments this year. So it's been a pretty good year for her. Besides, obviously, the one blotch is obviously Paris.
I'm pretty sure she traded all 3 wins for the Olympics, though.
It just goes to show, innit, that the Olympics is so tough.
Yeah.
It's different. You can't replicate it.
No.
In the other semi, actually, there was quite a big upset because Wang Manyu, who was the defending champ and second seed, she actually lost to Wang Yidi. And these two had played like 10 times. There was a stat before the match. They played 10 times, and Wang Manyu had won 8 out of the 10. So they were kind of expecting, like, she's just going to steamroll again.
Yeah.
And then, it just shows you go into every match, new strategy, treat it at level. You never know what's going to happen.
The thing with table tennis is it's such fine margins, right? Like that 8 times she lost, maybe 1 or 2 of them were 4-3 or 3-2, whatever the format was. Sometimes probably you could even, arguably you could lose 3 or 4-0 and every set's like 12-10, right?
Yeah.
So you've lost by 6 points effectively over the whole thing. So it's such fine margins that it can change quickly.
Yeah, for sure. And it shows like you should never give up. And if you've got like a player that you're struggling against, I mean, take for example, Wang Hao at the 2004 Olympics. He lost to Ru Su-ming. Ru Su-ming lost to Wang Hao 33 times, I think it is. Might be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's
something
times.
crazy, yeah.
Yeah. So Wang Hao's defeated Ru Su-ming 33 times. They play in the final of the Olympics. The only time Ru Su-ming ever beats him is at the Olympics.
But again,
And
it
gets
comes
the win.
back to that thing of Olympics and like the big events, like Olympics world champs. They have a different feel.
Yeah.
You know what? It must have been a nightmare to play Ru Su-ming because when someone pivots on every forehand, you're like, I'm just going to play it like slightly wide backhand, and he can't really get it. He's going to play a weak one. Or then I'm going to target wide forehand. Nah, not with that guy.
He just gets it anywhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And sends a missile every position.
I was once at the World Championships in 2007, like this school games thing. It was really awesome, and the school games was at the World Championships, so they kind of this thing like, if you were playing in that, you could train in the same training hall as like the pros of the World Championships. What? So it's so cool. So I'm like knocking there with Tim Yarnell, great guy, and next table to us is Ru Su-ming, right? And I thought this guy's not a human. Like he was doing 3-point forehand, and I just like, no, I'm not training. I'm going to stand and watch this guy. The speed of him, it was ridiculous, and he was coming around onto our court. Because like the tables are quite tight in the training hall. So he's doing his forehand from the back corner. I couldn't play the sport. I was just enjoying watching him. And it was ridiculous. Like his legs and the power and the sound and obviously speed glue then as well. It was weird. I was like, this is just madness.
Yeah, I wonder how much he actually trained like his footwork, or whether he just had a natural gift with like the length of his legs, maybe the angles of his hips, like whether he was just naturally gifted at flying across.
Yeah, probably a bit of both, right? Like naturally quick anyway, and then a lot of effort into like, probably more like a lot of effort into hiding that like really weak backhand. Like old style penhold, there wasn't much going on here other than just a couple blocks and just pad it back. So to hide that up, to cover that up, that weakness, obviously footwork has to be world class.
He's at quite a lot of table tennis tournaments. We need to get him on the podcast.
Okay.
He would be great to talk
How's his,
to.
how's
His
his
English is decent.
Okay.
His English is decent. Yeah. And
Better than
we
ours.
can ask him. Yeah.
It's better than my
mine,
Korean, that's for sure.
No, he's great. Yeah, he does a lot of stuff now with the IOC. He's on the board, so he's always talking and, going around the world.
Let's get him on.
Have you got his WhatsApp number?
I've got his, no, how do I normally know? I have spoken to him a few times on Facebook. He's on Facebook. But
Chairman would be
Yeah,
an
we'll get
easier
him.
one. Maybe we get Chairman and Ru Sing-min on together. That'd be good. Can you imagine that? Then we'd need a translator as well for Ru Sing-min.
For chairman.
That's
yeah.
what I mean, yeah, for Chairman speaking to Ru Sing-min.
A couple of other highlights then out of the women's draw was probably Miwa Harimoto. She was 5th seed going in and did better than what her seeding would suggest because she got to the semi-final, came up against Sun Yin Shah. And the first 2 sets she lost, but they were in juice, like 12-10, 14-12. Again, like Miwa's really young, but still seeming to kind of bring out these big performances at really, really kind of pivotal moments, which again bodes well for the future.
Yeah, really good. How old is she now? Like, do we know?
Good question. Not older than 18.
Yeah, it's
I was gonna
amazing.
say 17.
Yeah, so a huge like threat to China and all other players. She's going to be good.
Is she the next Mima Ito?
Yeah.
When I say next, I mean Mima Ito's still around, obviously,
Yeah,
but she's really fallen away recently.
You do say, no, you're right. It's a shame with Mimi because there was a point where she was like the pocket
Yeah,
rocket.
leading up to Pocket Rocket. She's a bit better than Pocket Rocket.
Yeah.
Leading up to the Tokyo Olympics, right?
Yeah, she was doing good
obviously,
stuff.
Yeah, home Olympics, there was a big hope for the Japanese team to beat China.
Yeah.
And she was throughout the year. She was beating a lot of the Chinese, right?
Yeah,
And then, I've seen a few things of maybe there's some politics and disagreements to it as well
okay,
with Mimi
interesting.
Ito.
She won gold, didn't she, in the
Mixed doubles with Jun Mitsutani.
Yeah, that was massive, wasn't it? They won gold in the mixed doubles. That was massive, and it was in Japan. And that was amazing for Japanese table tennis as well. Remember at the time, and that's why it was really important. I feel like Felix and Alex are doing well, and Simon in Paris. You know, it was great they got those bronze medals because it just got into the media, and that's what you kind of need. You know what I mean? The locations is so key to the host nations.
Yeah, it's the same in any big football tournament like the World Cup and Europeans, right? Like when the World Cup's in Brazil, the tournament would go flat if Brazil go out early, right?
Yeah.
You want like the home nation, all the buzz, the crowd. So like, yeah, it always makes a big difference when the hosts do well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one's America, right?
LA.
Yeah. Kanik Shah. He's grafting out there.
Well, you were recently with him,
Yeah,
weren't
it's
you?
wicked. No, he works hard. Wow, he trains hard. You can see why he's got to where he is. I think he got to 21 in the world, and he's obviously back on the scene again. And yeah, he's looking good.
Well, he came out of the US very early, right? He came to
age of 16.
Oxenhausen.
Oxenhausen. Then he went to Grenzau. And it's interesting because it's a very similar sort of trajectory to what Liam Pitchford did as well. You know, he went to Oxenhausen at the age of 16, and yeah, it makes sense. I think when you're a prodigy at a young age, you're showing a lot of good potential. You've got to get to a really good club.
A hub, yeah.
You got to get to a hub.
You need to be the worst one in the room.
Basically, yeah. And I mean, when Liam Pitchford was at Oxenhausen, I remember I talked to him about it. He had Ru Ming there for 2 years.
Yeah.
Imagine Ru Ming slinging forehands against you. You're going to get a world-class hold block. No wonder he can block Ma Long, for example, in those matches he's had with him. So, yeah, there's a point you get to, I think, in your career, and then you have to make that. It's a lot of sacrifice. I was talking to Kanak about it, right? They live in Germany. They're not at home. Everything changes, right? And it's a really big shift.
It's like the Beast right now. The
Yeah,
Beast is living in Germany right now, yeah, and it's like not an easy lifestyle. You go out, you sacrifice. Your family's not there. Your friends are not there. Your obviously only focus is really table tennis, getting fit as well, maybe. But that's it.
Yeah.
It's quite tough.
It is.
Well, you played with the Beast in a match a few weeks ago, didn't you?
Yeah. So the Beast team in Germany, they had a couple players injured, and they asked me if I could sign on and play some games. So yeah, I was in the same team as Beast in third Bundesliga a couple of weeks ago.
I love the way Tom's always like, oh yeah, so Rick messaged me yesterday asking if I can play. This is Ricardo Walter, who at the weekend beat Darko Jorgic.
Yeah, that was big.
Like casually, yeah, I'm just chatting away. Yeah,
Crazy,
Big
yeah.
Rick,
I
can make
like
that.
how
Good win.
I like how Beast, especially Beast, when he first come back here. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go talk to Rick, and he kept using this term Rick. Like, who the hell is Rick?
Yeah.
Like, oh, Ricardo Warfare. It's so funny, like short nickname on him. Brilliant.
Yeah, so he kind of like runs and helps organise the second team. So yeah. No, it was good fun. Yeah, we won 2 matches. So can't complain. It was good fun.
No, that's brilliant. Well done. It's good. Tough division.
Are those
Yeah.
matches on YouTube anywhere?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I told Tom take his camera, but Beast forgot the tripod.
Blame the Beast because we had the tripod, right? And I'm like, right, Beast, let's set this up to film our doubles and I can use it afterwards for my singles. And I'm like, where's the top part where the phone goes on? He's like, I'm like,
That's so Beast.
well, that's
it's
no
so
good,
Beast.
is it? So we
So
couldn't
Beast.
record it, but I can tell you I did win one, so I was happy with that.
That's great. It's good.
Yeah, you won it at like 4-4 as well, wasn't it? When it's a
Yeah,
deciding
so
game.
the match was the match score was 5-4 to us, and then I had to play the last game and won. So that was cool, nice.
Yeah, wicked. That's good. And you said Division 3, like in Germany, that's really strong.
Yeah, third Bundesliga is tough. Yeah, really strong.
I mean, we just kind of talking about like going to Germany as a hub, blah, 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 when you're at a young age, right? You know, you're playing in the leagues there, and you've got Ricardo Wolfer as like a coach manager. You're going to learn a lot, aren't you? Do you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
You're going to learn strategies, tactics, how to even just approach a match. You know, there's a lot of things to table tennis. It's not just the technique, right? There's so much more to it. And
I think sorry to interrupt. I think the biggest thing that I noticed was just like the professionalism of the setup. Obviously, it's third Bundesliga, so third league in Germany. Not really a big deal. I mean, it's not the top league, but the organization of like the team for the weekend and like, you know, everything was just structured well. You know, the travel, the organization of the players, who's doing what, where we're meeting. Like, it sounds really simple and obvious, but it's just something that, you know, if it's not necessarily done well, it doesn't make for a smooth ride for the players. So like, especially for me, just rocking up in a new team, you know, if it's not organized well, it becomes stressful, and that's just another thing to worry about. So yeah, that's obviously part of why Germany and France and these big leagues are doing well, organization and having that structure in place.
100%. It's all part of it, and it allows the players to focus in on what they need to do.
Playing the game.
Yeah. It reminds me, you know, we go to a local league match here, and chairman puts into WhatsApp group, guys, what's the postcode for the match tonight? And it's like 5 minutes until the match starts.
I started to think chairman's sponsoring this podcast. He's slinging us like 20 quid under the table to keep mentioning him.
Coming back to Macau, just final point I want to make on the women's side, because there was quite a highlight with Zulu Ying coming back, former world number one, I think back in 2018. She's been off for about 4 years, I think, with an illness that I was Googling and couldn't really find out what it was. It seemed to be some kind of immune system deficiency somewhere. But yeah, came back and she beat Natalia Bajor and 3-0, but they were all in juice. It was like straight back into the fire, every set juice. But yeah, there was a really lovely moment where she won. Like the crowd just goes wild.
Oh, that's amazing.
Class. So yeah, a really good feel-good story there. So cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I could see her back. I remember she was class.
All right, a bit of news then that I wanted to talk about was Jorgen Persson has stepped down as the Swedish team coach. And I was thinking, like, he's done a ridiculous job, because I think his first year was 2020. 2021 was the Nuts World Championships, where Truls gets the cyber shape about 2 weeks beforehand, turns up, smashes it all the way to the final with those like ridiculous points. And then in the doubles as well is when Christian and Matthias Falk won gold. So yeah, just absolutely mad year. And then the European champs, Sweden, won gold in Sweden last year, 2023. And then obviously signing off with a Truls silver.
And big performance from the men's as well.
Yeah.
And the men's silver.
Incredible. Yeah. No, when you mentioned this earlier, I didn't even know. And then I checked his Instagram. I was like, oh, you're actually telling the truth. Jürgen's retiring from the team.
I was surprised as well.
I didn't notice. I didn't come on my feed. The algorithm didn't hit me for whatever reason. Sorry, Jürgen. But yeah, like that, I think that's quite massive, because like right now, Sweden, he's done so well with the team. Like, it's ridiculous.
I mean, I guess it's his, you know, prerogative when to step down, but it does seem a bit like odd timing. Like you'd feel like maybe directly after the Olympics, like, okay, we've had a good run, but it's sort of like, almost feels like the start of the season now in a way, so it's a bit weird.
Well, especially there's European championships in about 3 weeks' time in Austria. So
maybe it was pre-planned. We don't know.
Is he still going to be part of the team in some way, or
not sure?
Okay, because sometimes that happens, right, where they step down as a coach, but still.
My guess would be probably not, as he's like head coach. I don't think he'd then step into another role unless it's like maybe some sort of off-table role, like in terms of association, maybe.
He is a beast, though. I saw him at one of the tournaments once, and the Swedish team were getting ready in the training hall, and he was like storming around, making sure that like Truls is getting a knock, you know, finding the balls, like, right guys, get the balls, let's get to the table. And he's like on it, really switched on. And I think he really helped the team come together and just have a good focus and belief as well. You know, Jorgen Persson has done it all himself, and that gives the team belief, you know.
He's an all-time great.
Yeah.
I put a note on here. I was like, it'll be interesting to see who replaces him. Maybe the older brother of Truls, Malte, who...
Interesting theory. That's a great theory from you.
There's also another point. The Dane has been posting his YouTube matches, and he posted a little photo of his team in Denmark, I think it is, and he plays with him.
Yeah. Dane is doing.
That's how high level Dane.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good player. He doesn't tell us about these sort of things. You see him on his Instagram, like, what's going on there? Bloody hell.
Yeah, he's been doing his little vlogs and things, hasn't he?
Yeah,
his
he
little
started
matches.
his YouTube stuff now.
Yeah, it's good.
Cool. We're going to make him a superstar.
We've trained him up well. Media trained now, the Dane.
Yeah. It's probably because when we go to these places, he's just sitting about, plodding about, whilst we're running around like lunatics, setting up the cameras and stuff. He's thinking, you know what? I'm just going to record this on my phone.
Well, that was like at the Andro. Well, obviously, the Andro video came out this week, or last week, sorry. But we were there with the Dane and the Beast, and there was points where, like you say, we were running around like absolute nutters. You'd be like, where have those two gone? And then you'd look in the corner, and there'd be a queue of about 30 kids, and they'd set up their own selfie line.
That's brilliant. That's a very Dane thing.
They were seeing who could get the most
Makes sense.
selfies.
And
And
they
having a selfie off.
Those two are a dangerous combo together, those.
They are. You turn around, like you said, you do a camera for a minute, turn around, they're gone.
Yeah. I tell you what, side fact, I actually played, so at British League, when I played on the weekend, I played with Dan Moses. We need to set up an exhibition between Moses and the Dane.
That's a good idea, actually.
The Dane, obviously, is far superior, but the exhibition points these two will have will be nuts.
Yeah, for sure. You know, Dane, Moses, right, hit a shot once in here, and I do believe it's the best shot ever of any human being in the universe. The only problem is the angle of the camera doesn't show how far back he is.
Yeah, I remember.
But you can know because
Where he goes into the
barrier.
wall.
Yes, he goes into the wall. He's on the floor. The ball's on the floor, and he's chipped it, and it's floated in the air and gone around the net and skidded off the corner.
We'll get it on the screen.
Yeah,
right now.
we'll get it on the screen, right? But again, this angle doesn't
do it justice, yeah.
But the one way you can know how far back it is, if you count the number of barriers, and you know that he's literally at the back of this hall, which is 7.5 meters. I've calculated it. He's 7.5 meters away from the table.
Which is crazy,
Yeah, and he's had to dive to get there. The ball's like almost on the floor, and it's just. No, it's beautiful.
And it glides. Yeah, it doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't.
It's like a paper airplane.
It's smoother than an Air India flight.
All right, so I want to go into then a shout out for the Paralympics, because our Brits, they're always strong at these
Really
events.
strong.
Led obviously by Will, who came away with his silver. A little bit of controversy in the final as well. But there were a couple of others that came away with some medals as well. So Rob Davies in the class 1 in the wheelchairs came away with a silver. Billy Shilton, who grew up not too far from here, right?
Yeah, I coached him a lot when he was younger. Yeah,
There you go.
he's from this way, and he really good player. He's been working hard for a long time. To be honest, all the guys, fair play to him in the Paralympic squad. You know, in the UK, there's a very good setup, a full-time centre in Sheffield, and they're just doing really good stuff, and they work hard.
You can put that on your LinkedIn profile that you've
Yeah,
helped coach.
Let's go, come on, Billy.
But yeah, Billy and Paul came away with the doubles. Bronze, and then obviously probably the star of the show, 14-year-old Bly Toomey. She won 2 bronzes, one in the doubles with Fliss. But I saw something that was awesome, which is Brighton, obviously
I saw this last night. Yeah.
hometown. Their train station, Brighton Station, they're changing temporarily to Blyton Station.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's
it's on the
cool.
signs and everything.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, that's
Fair
just
play.
awesome. Up until I think it's Cerebral Palsy Day is maybe October the 7th, I think.
Right,
Which
yeah.
obviously she has had it from birth. But yeah, just nuts. I mean, anyway, you're 14 years old, going to a Paralympics
Yeah.
and picking up 2 medals. Like,
Crazy.
It's sick, yeah, and you know she's Will Bailey goes to Brighton as well, so she's got a lot of inspiration to look up to. Do you know what I mean? It gives her that motivation. That I can do it, you know. And a fair play to Brighton Tables Club. They are doing a good thing right now. It's amazing how many people they've got playing the sport, and just the passion and drive and the energy for the game is great.
Yeah. Shout out to everyone there. Yeah, they're doing some nut stuff. Okay, up next then, China Smash, which is particularly exciting for us 3 anyway, right? Because we're going to jump on a flight on Saturday.
Yeah.
Straight to Beijing, exciting.
Let's go.
Come on.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
We're going to film some content, right? We're going to do some podcasts.
Podcasts, we've got all sorts lined up.
But in true TTD style, we don't know who we're going to be shooting with, right?
Oh, right, last minute. Joe, you're going to have to be hot on the old researching and getting ready.
Yeah.
No, we've got a list of players who should be available, and WTT are going to try and arrange, which we still need to all discuss.
Marlong's on that list.
Yeah, get a translator in there.
Is he?
I've mentioned it, Marlon.
Okay.
But, you know.
That is
Mentioned it. That should be the opening gambit.
Yeah, but, you know, it's Marlon. You know, his time. Well, we'll find a way, guys. You know, look, I don't want to say we're going to get Marlon, but obviously it is written down.
We can try. It's written there. We can try.
Come on, Marlon, get on the show. His English is pretty good as well.
Okay.
It's all right. I mean, we could probably have a translator and he could do a bit of both.
Yeah.
But look, we need to ask him that question. Does he think table tennis is a hard sport?
Yeah.
That could be it. And then he answers that, and then we say thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Off you
Great
go.
podcast.
Yeah, thank you. That was
He's just
really
like,
interesting.
yes.
Yeah.
Don't play it.
Yeah. Try golf.
So going to the, obviously the best of the best are all going. Basically, it's no Fan Zhendong, no Chen Ben. Other than that, pretty much
It's
everyone.
the
a
big dogs.
ridiculous lineup.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a Paris all over again.
You haven't seen the tables yet.
No,
have
no, you were saying you need to. Yeah, they've just
Oh.
revealed it, haven't they?
The tables. I've seen a lot of a few of the players have been posting it like in the training hall and stuff. And
Epic.
yeah, it looks good. It's nice. Oh,
There's a gold tint.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It looks good.
It's really good. I like how WTT have their different ident for different events, right? It's very, very good.
Yeah,
stuff.
remember the Saudi Smash had like the
Yeah.
Saudi colours of
The
like
green,
green. Yeah.
Singapore had the red.
Yeah, it's really cool.
The other one was pink, wasn't it? I can't remember what that was at, but
It's good. It's
Yeah.
raising the production levels of
Absolutely.
Yeah, of everything, which is really, really
I
good.
can't wait to just see what this is like going to be our first WTT experience, and I can't wait to see what it's like. You know, we're obviously going to do a vlog there. We've got all sorts of other videos going on. We're going to try and do. We know that the players are under stress. They're playing, and we've got to just try. We've got to be very adaptable ourselves to try and.
That's it.
Get the content.
I guess because you can't really badger the players if they've got a match coming up.
That's it.
But then equally, if they've just played, so either they've won and they need to prepare again, or they've lost and they're probably in a bad mood, which then means you can't really then go up to them and be like, "Come on the podcast, mate."
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly,
But,
it's
you know
tough.
these guys. They're all really good. They're all the top guys, and I'm pretty sure we'll be all right. But no, I really look forward to it. And big shout out to WTT in having us out there. And I can't wait to just experience the event.
Get stuck in.
Yeah. So I guess leave in the comments, guys, who would you love to see on the podcast out of everyone that's out there? Who can we try our best to go and get?
Absolutely. And let us know what other maybe content you'd like us to see us do out there as well. We're in China, so who knows what's going to happen.
All right. Do you want to sign us off, Dan?
Yeah, guys, make sure you like, subscribe to our new channel, TTDCast, here on YouTube. We're on Spotify as well. Hopefully on Apple Podcast very soon. We are working on that in the background. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
See you soon.